Australia's multi-billion-dollar cruise industry, riddled with problems during the early stages of the pandemic, has relaunched and has brushed aside claims a COVID outbreak aboard one of its vessels. Now 2 will deter future passengers. And in the US, the Centres for Disease Control and Prevention have stopped reporting coronavirus cases for cruise ships in US waters, ending a 30-month pandemic-era program. As I've said previously, we have come a long way since the days of the Ruby Princess, and we need to understand that. I'm joined now by Tourism and Transport Forum CEO, Margy Osmond. Margy, we need to remember we've come a million miles away with the defences we have at our disposal to fight back against the virus, especially on cruise ships.
Oh, look, Chris, you're absolutely right. We have come a very, very long way. But I would say the cruise industry has been in lockstep on that journey with the government public health agencies, because I think the turning point for this was really National Cabinet setting up that Eastern Seaboard group of ministers and premiers with the cruise industry to say, how the heck do we make this work? Because it is a $5 billion a year industry. And more to the point, Aussies love to cruise. So can we see if we can sort this out while still protecting the health outcomes?
And it's interesting, whenever a news crew goes up to, say, these docks to get the disembarking passengers, 95% of the disembarking passengers are raving about the experience. It's almost as if they expect disruption. They're prepared to take the risk because they want to get back on a cruise ship.
Yeah, look, I think that's true. I mean, I'd have to fess up and say, look, the cruise ships are members of mine, as are the airports and everybody else. I'm a tourism organisation. But the bottom line here is that, people are being given the option now to cruise, knowing that what will happen on board that ship has been done in conjunction with the health authorities. And that's the most important part of this. So, we're seeing opening up all over the world. It's interesting you mentioned the American part of the exercise. Of course, they've been open for much longer than we have, which is probably why they're taking the actions they are.
Sure, yeah.
But once again, this is a choice. People make the decision to go off and have a lovely cruise, and They may wear their masks, they might do other things. But, I have spoken to people who've been on board the ships and who say, literally don't stand still for too long because there's somebody behind you with, swipes and disinfectants and goodness knows what else. But the other part of this, I think, that's really critical is getting these ships out again and circulating around the Australian coast, because for so many regional communities, these ships represent an enormous surge of income back into their tourism income. Places like Eden, for example, end up on the Queensland coast, down in Tasmania, around in WA. Those regional communities rely upon these ships because many of them don't have the accommodation that would make it possible for this volume of people.
Yeah. The other point about cruising is no one's forcing anyone to go. So relax. And it's not as if we're going in not able to determine what the risks are. Now, Australians are desperate to embrace the world again after 2 years of closed borders. Margy, the term being used worldwide is revenge travel, and it's all about making up for lost time, right?
Yeah, look, Chris, it's a slightly misleading term in this sense. It has a bit of a negative connotation, but in actual fact, it's sort of revenge against the virus is what we're talking about here. And it could be everything from the most glamorous spa break in an incredibly expensive place, or on a ship, or a family reunion, or you name it. It's basically people saying, right, we're over this and we're going to travel again within the requirements of what's safe, and that's all there is to it. So that's where this revenge travel definition has come from.
I've never seen you smiling more. We've done 1,000 interviews during the pandemic. You've now got a smile back on your face. Great to see. Thank you very much, Chris, for your time.
You take care. Thanks for your support.